criminalising each other, saying phrase that they are criminalising, but they are clamping down our rights, not just as supporters of Palestinian rights, but as citizens.
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Thank you, solidarity!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Okay, our next speaker is the Member of Parliament for Islington North, the co-founder of your party and a staunch ally of the Palestinian people. Please give a very warm welcome to Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you to all those that have organised tonight's event. And thank you to all those that have shown such amazing, steadfast solidarity with the people of Palestine over the period since October 23, and in a lot of cases for the 20 and 30 years before that. We will never walk away or forget the Palestinian people. We're here in solidarity with them as long as it takes. And history will show that we continued all of our protests in the most difficult and desperate circumstances that people are in. I have been to HMP Bronzefield to visit one of my constituents who is in that prison. I have raised the issue in Parliament on numerous occasions, including with the Prime Minister today, as well as with the Justice Secretary and others. And we have written a letter signed by 50 members of Parliament demanding something so uncomplicated and so undifficult as a meeting with the representatives of the 8 people who are on hunger strike in British prisons. What was the answer I got? No. And a lot of MPs started laughing at that point. Well, they might find it funny, but they should reflect for just a moment on the history of bravery and protest in our society. The suffragettes who undertook hunger strike in order to try and get the right for women to vote. The Irish hunger strikers who took many actions, many hunger strikes in order to try and bring an end to the Troubles and the possibility of the reunification of the island of Ireland. There are so many other brave examples. History will remember those who stood up for peace, stood up for justice. They will not remember minor justice ministers who can only say no to the prospect of simply having a meeting. So let's send our solidarity to all those standing up for the Palestinian people. And just remember this, for all that Trump and Netanyahu and others and Starmer and so on have said, the so-called peace deal is not a peace deal. It is, once more, an erosion of the borders of Gaza. It is a continuation of the occupation. It's a continuation of the bombardment. It's a continuation of the destruction of Palestinian life. It is part of the long-term intention of the Greater Israel Project to remove the entire population of Gaza into the Sinai and to occupy the entirety of the West Bank and forget about the refugees in other parts, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and so on. But I've got news for all of them. We will never forget the Palestinian people. We will never walk away from them. We will continue supporting their demand to be able to live in peace without being under occupation. And we will continue to challenge and oppose the manufacture of weapons in this country that are used to kill Palestinian people, the use of RAF Akrotiri to carry information and supplies to Israel, and the overflying and all the other security information that is shared with Israel. Israel has been found wanting by the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court. So why aren't we sanctioning Israel in the way in which other countries are sanctioned for breaches of international law? History will show it was decent, ordinary people of this country, decent, ordinary people that stood up against the occupation and stood up for the rights of Palestinian people. They can't physically hear us tonight in Gaza and the West Bank, but through social media and lots of other means, it will get back to them. Tonight, here in London, outside the Ministry of Justice, we showed our solidarity with the 8 hunger strikers in showing our solidarity with the people of Palestine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Our next speaker is Afsana Begum. Warm welcome. The ongoing crackdown on the right to protest, the censorship and the repression is a threat to us all. Planning a direct action group always flew in the face of our long history of protest and dissent, and prescribing Palestine action while continuing to send arms to a state that is continuing to commit grave crimes against humanity was not just unjustifiable, it was chilling. And there is no doubt of the political nature of these unprecedented attacks on our civil liberties. Just today, one of the hunger strikers was finally taken to hospital after pleading for urgent medical assistance since yesterday afternoon. I spoke to another on Saturday, Kamran Ahmed, who has been hospitalized twice since starting his hunger strike. And just now I've raised a point of order in the House demanding action and intervention from the Justice Secretary. Where is he and why can't he save the lives that are in immediate risk of death? We will not stop demanding the immediate bail, the urgent medical care and the right to a fair trial and humane treatment of these prisoners. And the demands that there should be no more UK-made weapons of any kind sent to Israel. We will never ever stop asking whether weapons made in the UK were involved in the genocide in Palestine or the killings of civilians in Palestine. And we will never ever stop speaking out against the use of arms or any technology sent to Israel to kill children. We will never ever stop opposing genocide, and we extend our solidarity to all those in Gaza and the West Bank and to those prisoners suffering their inhumane treatment. Solidarity. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to hear from Richard Bergen, the Member of Parliament for Leeds East, who recently introduced a Sanctions on Israel bill in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone involved in organising tonight's protest. And thank you all for coming. This could not be more important. The constant attempts to prevent and criminalise support and protest in favour of Palestine are a disgrace. And that's why in Parliament I voted against the prescription of Palestine action. And opposing this clampdown on the right to protest is something I will continue to do alongside you all in the new year. But the most immediate concern is the health and safety of those on hunger strike. I've raised in the House of Commons the neglect, the harassment, the degrading treatment that they are facing. And tonight, outside the Ministry of Justice, I reiterate my call to the Justice Secretary. In fact, I implore the Justice Secretary, please meet immediately with the lawyers representing those on hunger strike. We are entering an extremely alarming stage. Lives are at risk. Time is running out. Act without delay, Justice Secretary, before tragedy occurs. And what we've seen with Kessa in recent days is the latest example of all of this appalling, inhumane treatment. So to any journalists here, I ask you to report the truth. Please let the public know that these prisoners have never been convicted, yet they have been held on remand for many months in conditions far harsher than those faced by other prisoners. Let people know, journalists, how they are being treated. They are being treated like extremists for allegedly taking direct action to stop the arming of Israel's genocide, while those who carry out genocide before our very eyes remain free and indeed, in some cases, are celebrated by political elites around the world. And so to this end, I say this to the Justice Secretary. If this was happening in Russia, what would he be saying? Surely, in a country that claims to be about the rule of law, about justice, about human rights, the least we can expect from the Justice Secretary is to intervene to ensure the treatment of these remand prisoners is humane and their human rights are upheld. And I'll finish on this. We need to keep marching for Gaza. We need to keep speaking out against the genocide. We need to campaign for sanctions on Israel of the scale of sanctions that were brought on Russia. That's why I brought the bill in Parliament for sanctions on Israel, and that's why I presented evidence of Israeli war crimes to the Chief Prosecutor's team at The Hague, because war criminals belong in The Hague. And so the Justice Secretary needs to understand, as we campaign for the human rights of those in Gaza, we will not forget the human rights of those on hunger strike in this country. Justice Secretary, intervene now, intervene immediately before tragedy occurs. Solidarity.
Shut up!
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Andy MacDonald, the Member of Parliament for Middlesbrough and Thornaby East, and the new co-chair of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Palestine. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much indeed. Colleagues, comrades, it's a pleasure to stand here with you today. It's critically important that parliamentaries' activity in support of the Palestinians must work closely with the solidarity movement outside of Parliament.
Today is day 46 of Kessa's hunger strike. Day 46. And the last time a hunger strike in these islands reached this point, in 1981, a young man named Martin Herson died. History teaches us what happens when governments delay, when they minimize, and when they look away. And yet, here we are, standing at the very same edge. Kessa is only 20 years of age, 20 years old. She's being held on remand. She has not been convicted of any offence, and yet her health is now rapidly deteriorating. Her life is placed in immediate danger. Why? We ask why. because she protested a genocide, because she refused to be silent, because she chose conscience over comfort. This young woman is now prepared to give her life to continue her protest, whilst those with the power, those in positions of influence and responsibility refuse to stop the genocide, but instead they sit comfortably behind closed doors, ignoring the desperate plight of the Palestinian people. Just this morning, I read reports of an infant freezing to death because Israel continues its genocidal blockade on Gaza. That should shame all of us, because above all, it should shame every single individual who had the power to stop this, to stop this madness, to stop this brutality, to stop this genocide, to stop the daily death and destruction of children, but instead they chose to look away. Heroic individuals like Kessa, a young woman who should have her entire life ahead of her, has decided with her very life, if that's what it comes to. An absolute shame on the rest of us for failing to have the courage and determination in the face of genocide. And let us be clear, let us be absolutely clear. Remand is not punishment. It is not meant to break bodies or silence dissent. Yet what we are witnessing are conditions so severe that these young people feel driven to risk their lives towards death simply to be heard. This is not justice. This is not proportionality. This is not humanity. The government has a duty of care to those that it detains. And that duty does not disappear because a prisoner is inconvenient. It does not disappear because the protest is uncomfortable. And it certainly does not disappear because the message is politically inconvenient. I say, we say, Kessa's life matters. Her voice matters. And history will remember those who acted and those who remained silent, whilst a young woman's life hung in the balance on day 46. We are demanding immediate medical care. We are demanding accountability. We are demanding that ministers meet urgently with the lawyers representing these prisoners, not after irreversible harm has been done. We are demanding something even more basic than that: humanity. If a 26-year-old is willing to lay down her life to protest genocide, then the very least those in power can do is to stand up and to listen and to act, because the clock is ticking, the world is watching, and history is recording every choice made in this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Free, free! Thank you so much, John.
I just want 30 seconds to talk to you quietly. Yesterday I visited prisoners in Bronzefield. Bronzefield is a prison near to my constituency. I met with Fatima. Fatima's on trial at the moment. She's been inside now on remand for 18 months. 18 months. I met Amu. I met Amu, one of the hunger strikers, with her father. And she's frail. Committed but frail. And the message from the others was exactly the same, that they're standing firm and doing their best. But I think we should recognise that this is a dangerous moment. It's a dangerous moment for those young people who'd stood so firm. People are shouting at me. Do you know, every day in Parliament we've been raising the case. We've been making representations. We're visiting the prisoners. We're doing everything we can to support them. Rather than shout, work in solidarity with us. Because the onus now is upon the government to intervene, to see if we can ensure that these young people do not sacrifice their lives, but they actually are allowed to eventually, I hope, leave the prison healthy and in freedom, having won their cause and won their argument. And I just want to say this, we stand in solidarity with them and will do throughout, but we'll maintain the pressure on this government, because if a tragedy does occur, that tragedy will fall upon the shoulders of ministers who refuse to act. Solidarity.